Hello dear students, today our topic of deliberation is liver function test and kidney function test. Before going through this topic, first let's have a look on its objectives. First, to enumerate the various tests undertaken to measure liver function. Second, to understand the importance of kidney function tests and types of lesions detected by the renal function test. And the third we'll also try to explain about various components of the kidney function test, and finally we will try to know about its importance. So first and foremost, concept of liver function test. Liver function tests are a group of tests done to assess the functional capacity of the liver as well as any cellular damage to the liver cells. To assess all functional capabilities of the liver, such as its synthetic ability, it's done by measuring the various plasma proteins such as albumin and prothrombin that are synthesized by the liver. And second, its secretory or excretory abilities, which is done by measuring the serum bilirubin level. Now the common tests that form part of the liver function test are as: first, serum bilirubin, which includes both conjugated and unconjugated. Second, total serum proteins and albumin globin ratio. And the third, liver enzymes, which include transaminases, in which AST and ALT are included, and ALP, GGT and LDH. And the fourth one is prothrombin time. Now first of all, we will see what is serum bilirubin. Bilirubin is one of the end products of heme metabolism and is derived from the heme part of the hemoglobin molecule. It's a yellow colored pigment. Liver plays an important role in the metabolism of bilirubin. After the breakdown of heme portion of the hemoglobin molecule, unconjugated bilirubin is insoluble in water. It's transferred from the site of RBC and heme breakdown such as the spleen to the liver for conjugation bound to albumin. At the liver, it's conjugated with glucuronic acid with the help of enzyme glucouronyl transferase. This conjugation makes bilirubin water soluble, and this conjugated bilirubin is excreted into the bile. The normal range of bilirubin is total bilirubin, which ranges from 0.2 to 1 mg per deciliter. Unconjugated bilirubin ranges from 0.1 to 0.6 mg per deciliter, and the conjugated bilirubin ranges from 0.1 to 0.4 mg per deciliter. A rise of bilirubin level to that of 2 mg per deciliter results in the symptoms of jaundice, which is marked by the deposition of bilirubin in the various mucous membranes. The common method of measuring serum bilirubin level is the diazo method, using diazotide sulfonamic acid to convert into bilirubin into an azobilirubin. The color intensity of which is measured calorimetrically at a wavelength of 555 nanometer. The conjugated bilirubin reacts directly with the diazo sulfonamic acid in an aqueous medium and hence also called direct bilirubin. For unconjugated or free bilirubin, which is not water soluble, we need to dissolve it into DMSO for the reaction to occur. This method is the indirect method for measuring bilirubin levels, and it measures both conjugated and unconjugated bilirubin, that is total serum bilirubin. Now serum albumin and albumin globulin ratio. Serum albumin is an important serum protein vital for maintaining the plasma oncotic pressure, as well as it acts as a carrier for various biological substances and drugs. Serum albumin is exclusively synthesized by liver, and hence the level of serum albumin gives us a stock of the synthetic ability of the liver. Another cause of fall of serum albumin may be protein malnutrition, but in that case the fall of all serum proteins including globulins will be seen. The normal total protein level is 5 to 8.5 grams per deciliter. The total serum albumin level is 3.5 to 5 grams per deciliter. The total plasma globulin level is calculated by subtracting the plasma albumin from the total protein level and is normally in the range of 2 to 2.5 grams per deciliter. The normal range for albumin globulin ratio is 1.2 to 1.5. But with the hepatic dysfunction, this ratio recedes towards 1 as the synthetic function of liver is compromised. The reversal of the ratio, that is, if the value recedes below 1, may mark an infective or inflammatory pathology marked by the rise in serum globulin level and fall in serum albumin levels. Now the prothrombin time. Prothrombin is a clotting factor which is also called clotting factor second, and it forms an important part of both the intrinsic and extrinsic pathway. Its active form is thrombin. It's a serine peptidase which converts fibrinogen to fibrin. Prothrombin is synthesized in the liver, and hence prothrombin activity in plasma is used to measure the synthetic function of liver. Prothrombin time is measured by taking human plasma from blood that has been collected in tube containing citrate as an anticoagulant. The plasma is put in an automated machine which adds an excess of calcium to reverse the anticoagulant effects of citrates and measures the time taken for fibrinogen to be converted to fibrin. Hence measures the activity of thrombin in the plasma. The prothrombin time differs in accordance to the analytical method used. Now, students, we will study about liver enzymes. Liver enzymes, along with bilirubin, are the most commonly measured parameters in the liver function tests. These enzymes are hepatic in origin and they are leaked into the serum with the destruction of hepatic cells. Liver enzymes are measured to get an idea of the cellular insult on the liver and are increased in a wide variety of conditions such as viral hepatitis, toxic hepatitis and cirrhosis of liver. The commonly measured enzymes are transaminases, which includes AST and ALT, transpeptides, which includes GGT, phosphatases, which includes ALP. First of all, we will see what transaminases are. They are a group of enzymes that transfer the amino group from an amino acid to alpha keto acid, converting the alpha keto acid into an amino acid. The transaminases that are measured in the liver function test are ALT and AST. The normal level of ALT in serum is 7 to 40 units per liter. The normal level of AST in serum is 8 to 40 units per liter. An increase in AST or ALT levels hints an insult to the liver parenchyma tissue. ALT is a more specific marker of hepatic injury than AST, as AST elevation is also seen in cardiac tissue injury, hemolysis and muscle tissues. Now the alkaline phosphatase. It's a hydrolase that removes phosphatates from all kinds of molecules such as proteins, nucleotides. It's found in cells lining the biliary system, hence a rise in its level is indicative of damage to the biliary tree due to cholestasis. Alkaline phosphatase is also found in placenta and bones. Hence, the level is also increased in growing children in whom bones undergo remodeling and in Paget's disease in adults. Normal level of alkaline phosphatase is between 45 to 115 units per liter. Now, gamma glutamyl transpeptidase, which is GGT. It's another enzyme specific in the biliary tree and a more specific indicator of cholestasis and damage to the biliary tree. It's also a highly specific marker and is raised in severe, minute and clinical damage to the biliary tree. The normal range is in between 0 to 42 units per liter. Now we will study about kidney function tests, that is another part of our lecture. The main function of the kidney is excretion of water soluble waste products from our body. The kidney has various functions like filtration, excretion and secretory functions. The arrangement of any of these functions would result in either decreased excretion of waste products and hence their accumulation in the body or loss of some vital nutrient from the body. Based on the level of these excretory products and nutrients in the urine as well as in the blood, we can make an accurate calculation to decipher the efficiency of the kidney to undertake its various functions. Now, the functional components of a kidney. The functional unit of the kidney is called a nephron. It consists of two main parts, the glomerulus and the tubular system. The glomerulus is composed of a Bowman's capsule and a tuft of leaky blood vessels encapsulated by the Bowman's capsule. The primary purpose of the glomerulus is filtrations. The leaky vessels filter into the glomerulus almost all the water, electrolytes, small proteins, nutrients such as sugar, etc., and excretory products such as urea. The filtration is dependent on the size and charge of the particles. The average pore size is 8 nanometer, hence particles of only smaller size will pass through. The tubular system is responsible for reabsorption of most of the water electrolytes, nutrients as well as the excretion of the remaining nutrients by means of secretion into the tubules. Now we will see the components of kidney function tests. The components of the kidney function test can be broadly divided into two categories. First, tests that measure glomerular function and the second, tests that measure the tubular function. Before doing a quantitative examination of urine, a qualitative examination is necessary as it can provide excellent clues to the nature and location of the lesion in the renal system. This examination consists of a physical examination where the color, odor, quantity, specific gravity, etc. of the urine is noted. Microscopic examination of urine is done to rule out any pus cells, RBC cast or crystals. Now the serum urea. Urea is the end product of protein catabolism. The urea is produced from the amino group of the amino acids and is produced in the liver by means of the urea cycle, which is also called the ornithine cycle. Urea undergoes filtrations at the glomerulus as well as secretion and reabsorption at the tubular level. The rise in the level of serum urea is generally seen as a marker of renal dysfunction, especially glomerular dysfunction. Urea is measured in diagnostic labs either by UV kinetic method using alpha-ketoglutarate as an NH3 positive acceptor in presence of enzyme that is glutamate dehydrogenase. It's also measured calorimetrically by Breathold's endpoint and is read in visible range using a calorimeter. Now the another test, that is blood urea nitrogen, BUN test. Sometimes the serum urea level is expressed as blood urea nitrogen. BUN can be easily calculated from the serum urea level. The serum urea levels can be easily converted to BUN by multiplying it by 0.47. A rise in blood nitrogen level is known as azotemia. Now the another test, that is calcium test. This test measures the amount of calcium in our blood, not the calcium in our bones. The calcium test screens for problems with the parathyroid glands, certain type of cancers and bone problems, inflammation of the pancreas and kidney stones. Normal results which range from 8.5 to 10.2 mg per deciliter. Now another test which is called phosphorus test. Phosphorus is a mineral that makes up 1% of a person's total body weight. The body needs phosphorus to build and repair bones and teeth and helps nerve function and makes muscles contract. The kidneys help to control the amount of phosphate in the blood. Extra phosphate is filtered by the kidneys and pass out of the body in the form of urine. High levels of phosphorus in bloods occur in people with severe kidney disease or severe dysfunction of their calcium regulation. Now the protein test. Protein in urine is noticeably increased in renal disease of any etiology except obstruction and is therefore a very sensitive general screening test for renal disease, though not specific. The greatest degree of proteinuria is found in the nephritic syndrome, which is greater than 3 to 4 grams per day. In renal disease with the nephritic syndrome, the urinary protein excretion rate is usually about 1 to 2 grams per day. In tubulointerstitial disease, urine protein is generally less than 1 grams per day. Now the serum creatinine level. Creatinine is a small tripeptide found in the muscles. It stays in its phosphorylated form and releases energy for any burst of muscular activity. It's released from the muscles during regular wear and tear and is converted to creatinine, interstitial anhydride. It's to be remembered that unlike urea, creatinine is not a toxic waste. It's simply used as a marker of renal function. Creatinine is freely filtered at the glomerulus and is also in a very small extent secreted into the tubules. So, any problem with the glomerular filtration has a significant effect on the excretion of creatinine, resulting in a much substantial rise in serum creatinine level. Normal serum creatinine level ranges from 0.6 to 1.5 mg per deciliter. Serum creatinine is a better indicator of renal function and more specifically glomerular function than urea. Creatinine is most commonly measured in laboratories calorimetrically by Jaffe's method. This brings us to the end of lecture. Hope you have enjoyed and understood. Thank you and goodbye.